This is something that's always annoyed me when it comes to any form of media, and Power Rangers has done this so many times, and I'm sat here wondering, why? Just why? For some strange reason, TV shows think they need to have romance to either make people more involved, to get kind of more excited to talk about it, and to have some sort of connection to the actual show and the characters. To me, there have only been a few relationships, but when you think about it, have any of the relationships actually been relationships, or just sticking people with people? Even the entire Haley and Calvin didn't really do much as a couple. It's just really frustrating when nothing happens. My main gripe is that we get so many stories happening and then they are dropped. Dino Thunder was a perfect example where you have Kira and Trent. Kira likes Trent, and that's the main thing for a while. They seem to be on track for getting together, and then all of a sudden the story just drops. It's really frustrating, and again, shouldn't have been put in. So what happened with Trent and Kira? Well, it's very simple. Disney didn't like the idea of having romance. This was confirmed by Kevin a while ago on Twitter. It's been years since I wrote this video originally, and I literally can't find the tweet. The guy tweets a lot, so to me finding the tweet would be pretty hard. Anyway, Disney decided to come in and say, hey, the young audience aren't going to be interested, so yeah, we're just going to drop this. And my main question is, how do you know this? I guarantee the young audience probably wanted to know because it's a subplot to the entire whole thing. And I know like some of the older fans who are watching this as well are going to be like, hey, we want to know what's going on. You know, it's really cool that they're getting together, and this could have been a big thing since like relationships don't normally happen in Power Rangers. So again, just dropping it because someone thought, yeah, someone's not going to like it. Having someone come in and go, yeah, just drop it, and then having the story completely change just doesn't really make sense, and it just shows that Disney just didn't give a shit. So having a subplot on relationships doesn't actually hurt the story, but having it dropped with no kind of like backing behind it raises more questions. Having the writers think, oh, we just can't be bothered with this, or is it just a thing where people are meant to kind of accept it for what it is? Relationships of any kind are important. Friendship, rivals, etc, etc. So if Disney think kids don't want like this sort of like romance story or in-depth kind of character development or whatnot, or character stories, then why are you putting this in? Like, why are you putting in any sort of story? Why are you having saying Mesogog doing what he wants to do to, I think, is it try to kind of turn the world back to prehistoric time or turn people into dinosaurs? Why did you even put the whole thing of Trent being evil and having a connection with his father? So if you think that kids don't want this in-depth storyline or the subplot, just have the Rangers just fight. Explosions and fighting, that's it. No major storyline, just, hey, monster comes up, let's just fight it for like 25 minutes, and then for the next 3 minutes, just like, good job, and just the episode's over. But what really gets me is Disney is the type of company that made their name on romance, and in those stories, in those films, Snow White, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, these all had romance, and you can't really say like, oh, these films are like for girls, you know, or anything like that, because guys like these stories. I liked watching these films when I was a kid because they were entertaining, and I never once went, ugh, that's horrible. Like, I just want like action all the time. I generally really like these stories, and they still hold up today to some degree. If Disney are thinking that, then are they saying that their films are not for guys? Anyway, it seems like after Disney, Hasbro did the exact same thing. Saban did it as well with Ninja Steel, again with Kelvin and Haley not actually kissing, but there's a deleted scene of them actually kissing. But again, Kelvin and Haley were in relationships. And what is also kind of messed up is Saban wanted to do a storyline, which I'm waiting to interview the cast because I really want their feedback on this. But if that was the case, then they were going to do a storyline that would have fucked over like some of the cast. And again, if you're not willing to show, say, a kiss or how people are in relationships, why would you put in a storyline that would hurt the characters emotionally and mentally? But I've also kind of talked a little bit more in depth on this on another video that's coming up, or you've already seen it. Either way, there's another video about this, so go check out that video. The main point is any story or plot, or even the subplot, is paying it off. You start it, so finish it, otherwise don't write it. It's what drives us to finish the story. I like having a common thing to watch and follow to the end, a storyline to get me invested, the reason why I want to watch this. But when you suddenly drop it and then don't like kind of add to it, it just makes the whole thing go like, oh, I wasted my time. It's like if I watch a series on Netflix and the series doesn't finish and leaves it on a cliffhanger, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to kind of follow that. I feel like I've wasted my time, and I won't watch anything like that from the director or from the studio. That's me. So I'm going to give an example. Take Star Trek Voyager, for example. A starship and a crew that starts from one point of the galaxy, ends up on the other side, which is a massive ball ache. I can imagine being on that starship going, it's my first day and I'm fucking on the other side of the galaxy. Oh, I hate this. But the main plot was they have to get home. Of course, they're going to have adventures along the way. But can you imagine that you start watching this for seasons on seasons? You get invested, you fall in love with the characters, and then all of a sudden they just stop it and they don't get home. And you're like, oh, well, I've just invested my time in this. Why did I even bother? But when you hear there's a new Star Trek series coming out, you're not going to sit down and watch and go, well, the Voyager cast didn't get home. And even if you watched that series and they didn't even say anything about Voyager, you're going to be left with questions. Did they get home? What happened? Did the ship blow up? Who got with who? Who did what? And it just adds to it. Like, this is what makes a good show, but when you drop plots, it just makes you go, oh well, this is really shit, isn't it? I just generally think that's so weird that you would start writing this and then listen to Disney. I would have just kept it in, but kind of low-key brought it down a bit, so still have them end up together at the very end at the concert, but I would just literally have just like made it low-key, like not there, but at least move it forward a bit. Dino Thunder is a banger of a season, and it's also one of the best seasons in the Power Ranger history in my eyes. So if I also remember correctly, Saban came out and said that they didn't want to promote any more kind of romance a little bit when Tommy and Kimberly kissed. And I just generally thought, why are you putting them together then? Like, is this just the trope of the 90s and stuff? But again, like when you start seeing their relationship, it starts to change. And to me, at least, it doesn't feel like they're together. It's more like they're just really good friends. So with closing off the video, I just want to say this. If you're writing something for a show or in a season or whatever, just don't add in any romance for any of the characters who aren't actually going to get together, or there's not going to be a payoff. And again, if someone just turns around and goes, oh my god, it's a kid's show, like get over it. It's like, okay, well, why are you putting in really complex storylines? You know, just again, have them fight a monster, no words, no plot, nothing, and just have like things blow up in the background so you keep people's attention. Kids aren't stupid and they want plots, they want like stuff that can actually make them think at the end of the day. But yeah, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree that Disney and Saban and Hasbro should follow through with the plots that they put in, or do you think they should drop them? Let me know down below in the comments and let's discuss. If you want to check out the Patreon and the channel memberships, that would be absolutely great and help the channel out. Like and subscribe, and may the power protect you. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。